Hello again, and welcome back to the Super Fun Pack Weekly Podcast. With me, as always, is Jen, and I'm Christopher Marine.
Hello.
So,
I don't know. I thought we agreed we weren't going to say our last names. Now Chris is saying it. So are we saying our last names or not?
I keep saying it.
Is it because you're just forgetting?
I keep forgetting, so I keep saying my last name.
You dumb.
Yeah.
That lovely intro. This is episode
This is episode 12.
12.
We're going to be talking about Brink and Sky High.
And my lover, War in Peace.
Jesus. Alright,
AKA Steven Strait. AKA I love you. We're going to talk about how Chris looks kind of like War in Peace.
That kind of makes me feel a little uncomfortable. Makes me feel like you have a type and you just go for that type.
I think most people do that.
Yeah, Jen still has the AIDS. She's just coughing.
Did you say I still have AIDS?
Yeah, you have AIDS.
If I had AIDS, at least I could get medicine for it. Fuck this. I went to the doctor. They're like, nothing
AIDS
wrong.
In the chest.
Nothing's wrong with you. Something's wrong with me, obviously. You know what the number one answer is when I looked it up on Google? Cancer. Okay, guys, never fucking look shit up on Google. You'll fucking scare yourself.
Yeah.
So I've been napping for 2 hours, kind of grieving a little bit. But hopefully it's just a cold. Pray for me.
So what made us go and watch Disney Channel movies?
You wouldn't shut up about them. So last week I said this is what we're watching.
Yeah, but like, what possessed us to do that?
I decided to do it. That was my idea.
Well, it was a good idea.
Thank you. I'm brilliant, I know.
Because, like, when we go and think about our Disney Channel movies from when we were younger, Brink always comes up for me. Like, I love Brink. Even though how stupid it is, I love it so much. Like, it's so 90s that I can't unsmile every time I think about it. Like, the fucking aggressive inline skating and, like, doing these cool tricks and stuff. You gotta do a 540 every 5 minutes. I don't know, man. I fucking love it.
Well, just so everyone knows, because most people probably don't know this, a lot of the Disney Channel movies are on Amazon for like $2.99 to stream the movie. Like, even if they're not on DVD, you could rent or buy them on Amazon.
They got, like, Cadet Kelly and Motocross and some of the really, really good ones.
Yeah, they have them all on Amazon. So if you are out there, have little ones, you're like, man, I wish they could watch the cool movies I watch because movies on Disney Channel suck now.
Yeah.
Well, you can. So they still don't have any Even Stevens though. The TV show?
Yeah.
That's the one that I would want to rewatch because I'm wondering if it's as good as as I remember it. Because my dad even watched it with me and he thought it was okay.
So what do you think Brink was about?
Like the actual plot.
Yeah. What's the plot of the Brink?
So the plot of the Brink is actually pretty heavy when you think about it. A teenage boy's father got injured at work. They're not sure if he's going to go back to work. And so he decides he's kind of, a teenager, but this is his first time kind of realizing consequences and stuff. And he realizes that he wants to help his family. So he finds out that there's these kids at school that get sponsored to skate. But what do you call it? Inline skate.
Yeah.
So he decides that he's going to try and get a job for them. Turns out, though, they're kind of his arch rivals at school and his friends' arch rivals. But he decides to lie about it anyways and get that job. And, of course, his friends find out and it causes problems. And he has to choose between money and family or being true to himself, which is being a skater and being true to his friends. Essentially, right? That's essentially what the movie's about.
That's basically the full plot of Brink.
Yeah, you just asked me what the full plot was. You just made it sound like Jen just repeated the full... You asked me, bitch!
I did ask you!
God, your face annoys me right now.
Oh, well, deal.
It's not War and Peace.
Yeah.
Every curl of that hair, just a lie. Just twisting the knife deeper in me.
So, what do you think of Andy Brinker?
Think he's a teenager?
Like, do you think do you think he fits the norm of any Disney Channel movie? Because I think he kind of, as a character, kind of skews away from it. He like, yeah, you get that Disney moment where every
Okay,
character has to learn
okay.
in like about their wrongdoing in the middle of the movie, but like with him, he doesn't seem like any protagonist in a Disney movie that like they always have like their head on a swivel. They're very like they have very strong leadership qualities, but I don't see him much like that. He's kind of like
No, he's the leader of his friend group.
he
He
just seems
start.
too much of a free spirit to be a leader of anything.
No,
I
he
think
was.
Gabrielle is more the leader.
No, he was the leader of the group. Remember, whenever they show it, they show him as the leader. They wait for him
Yeah,
to
yeah, you're
train.
right.
He's the one that tells him like, "Hey, fix this." Gabriella rebels against that a little bit because she's like, "You fix your leg," when he gives her a correction. But
Yeah.
he's definitely the one correcting them. He's the one that tells them, keep going. He's the one that got them into skating. Um, he's definitely a leader. I actually don't get what you mean by that because he is a very in this movie, I give him credit. All the characters are very strong characters. I mean, Val's a little bit wishy-washy because they're trying to make him the obvious enemy.
Yeah.
But the mom and dad were well written, I thought.
Yeah, they felt very human.
They felt human. The little sister felt human. The Brink felt human. Like, he was a flawed character, obviously. Yeah. But he made sense. And even the characters' motivations were all a little skewed. Like, Gabriella tells Brink, like, oh, well, we all do it for the money. But, so in a perfect movie, all his friends would have been like, no, Brink, you need to do what you need to do to help your family. But instead they got mad at him. We're like, you betrayed us. And, all this stuff. So you could say at one point, like, oh, that wasn't a perfect Disney movie. Like, they didn't all learn. But it also made them all very human.
A lot of the characters in this movie are very like well grounded.
Mm-hmm.
Like Gabriella being like wants to be accepted as one of the guys. No,
she doesn't want to be accepted as one of the guys. She just wants to be accepted as a woman
who happens to skate.
She wants to be included as a female, and I think she was pretty progressive because anytime you could say she was one of those annoying feminists, or you could also say she stood up for herself.
Yeah.
Anytime anyone did anything to her, it doesn't matter if other people agreed or not, to her that she felt, what do you call that? Denouncing of her or excluding of her. Simple things by not using terms that includes her in the conversation, singling her out because of her gender. She got mad.
Yeah.
And I like that about her because she was like, they'd always say stupid things like, be one of the guys. And she's like, I'm not a guy. All this stuff. She actually claimed her femininity almost in a way, whereas people wanted to group her in with the boys. And she was like, no,
I'm a girl.
I'm a girl. I just happen to skate.
Yeah.
So, that was kind of cool. But I think
she was also one of the better skaters out of the group, too.
She was one of the better skaters. I think she was really good. They talked about it. Remember during the competition, they talked about them. That like Andy was the best in the group. Like he was the only one who could do the downhill stuff the best.
Yeah.
They all said that. He was I think the better what was it? Inline? Vert. He was good on vert too. Yeah. But so was Jordy and so was Pete?
Yeah, Pete was I think the weakest on vert.
Yeah, I think Gabriella was really good on the street skating part.
Yeah.
Because they even talked about that. She got like the score almost as close as Brink. But they were all
Brink's score.
I don't remember.
Fell in the beginning.
That's right. Yeah. But they were all.
She rivaled Val in that.
Yeah.
It's like what's good about this movie is that they show members of a team, and it's not one member outshines the other.
They all had something, and they all worked together towards a victory. Essentially.
Yeah. I find it. Like, this movie dealt with some very hard-hitting issues. Like, even issues that we can bring into today's time and today's light, where the father, like you said earlier, is on disability. He's been on disability for 6 months, and he doesn't even know if he's going to have a job.
Mm-hmm.
And you see how the mother is struggling with that, with the raising of the kids, as well as she's also working, and she's having a hard time at work as well. And we see what every teenager has to go through, like the veil of
Well, your parents talk about, well, it's the thing, like, parents don't want their kids to worry, and they don't want them to, I guess, worry that, like, they feel like it's their job to provide and all this stuff. So, kids who go through this, sometimes when you're young, you don't notice it, obviously, but like Katie didn't. But when you're a teenager and you hear the parents, you can see the struggle, but you can't do anything. And your parents, it's not that they don't want you to help, but they want you to be a teenager. They want you to live your life. And that was what the parents are going through, is that they did need help, but they didn't want their kids to lose anything. Even the mom, when the Brink brought up working, she was against it at first, and the dad was like, well, no, it's good for him to do this. And then she was like, okay, fine then, but he saves it for college. That's what her first, like, she didn't want to accept the money because they wanted to provide for their children. So it's something that a situation of sitting at a dinner table and knowing that your family's struggling for food and stuff, and that you want to do something for it, it's an extremely common situation. And I think the movie, like you were saying, was very grounded. Like, everything was very, very, a lot of it was very, very relatable.
I feel very, very much so every character felt like they each had their own life outside of here. Like, even when they all got in trouble for skating in the beginning of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and racing Val in the high school, you hear each character's story about how they got chewed out.
Yeah.
At home.
And they were all so different.
Yeah. And
Jordy's was sitting and staring. And more sitting, more staring.
It was very interesting to see, like, for a movie of its generation back in the 90s, we don't really see too much of that. We saw some shows and some
right, where like all the characters lived in a lot of times characters live in a vacuum of, I'm on set, I'm not. So you don't know anything about them besides the moments that they're on camera.
Exactly. Like Fresh Prince does this very well, where every character feels like a character,
mm-hmm.
and then they do tackle hard-hitting issues. Same thing with Boy Meets World. But as Boy Meets World continued, you saw these characters starting to phase out. Like, Mr. Turner is gone. Everyone from the middle school is gone. Like, Harley Kiner is gone.
Yeah.
And then all you got is the Matthews family. But the main focus is on Corey, Sean, and Topanga, while Eric, who was like kind of smart in the beginning of the series,
just got dumber and dumber for comedic effect
throughout the end. But now, in this movie, in the movie Brink, we don't see something like that. We see a very tight niche, well written story, even though it's like very 90s with it's like, hey, yeah, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
that's fat.
The dialogue was written for children in the 90s.
Yeah.
So, all of this, but I think this goes to show, again, like we're talking about it, you go, is it a good, bad movie? You can go, yeah, it's a good movie for what it is, right?
Yeah.
It's a 90s movie made for television, probably had a very low budget. Good movie. You could say, well, do you think it's good because of nostalgia? Actually, I think watching a movie like this that I remember so fondly, I think nostalgia would actually work against it. I'd go, I remember being better, but actually it lived up to expectations for me, that I was expecting me to watch it and like cringe and be like, oh my God, I like this. But actually, like you said, even as an adult watching, I was like, the characters are very grounded. They made some very interesting points. Yeah, I just thought that even if it was low budget, even if the costuming and the filming techniques, all of that was low budget and, from the 90s and stuff, it's still a relatable movie, and I actually still enjoyed watching it.
Yeah. When we get to the final race, this is a big thing of contention between you and I.
Mm-hmm.
So let's paint the picture of the final race.
Paint it.
We got Andy Brink on the left. Was he on the left?
Right.
He was on the right. And then we got Val on the left. They're both at the starting line, bracing themselves for this downhill again.
Mm-hmm.
We got Andy looking at Val very intensely. And then we got Val looking at Andy like he's
like a fucking robot.
2 seconds away from making out with him, or 2 seconds away from going just derailing him. Once the gun fires and it's time for them to start the race.
It's go time.
It's go time, and they're
going head to head. They're both gaining the same amount of speed.
Yeah.
Once they get to the flattened part, they both are skating.
Neck to neck.
Neck to neck the whole time. All of a sudden, they get to a corner. It's a blind corner. No one can see anything. Out of nowhere, Val starts trying to shoulder check Brink and trying to push him off the course.
He's trying to push him off, and he's even taking swings. But did he connect any of those swings?
He pushed him.
No.
But he didn't connect with a punch. But he definitely shoulder checked him.
It was on the blind spot.
It was on the blind spot. None of the people could see it.
The only amount of cheating you could say that happened with Val.
No, keep going and
so he swings out uncontrollably.
No. I'm gonna finish it because Chris sucks at telling stories. So after the shoulder checking injury, they get back to skating like normal because now the crowd and audience can see them. Val flies to the barricade of the course and falls. Andy, who's now in the lead, stops Brink, goes back, and goes to give him a hand, help him up so they can start the race again. Val turns to him and goes, Brink, you never learn, do you? You always finish a race. Pulled Brink down, got up, and went to continue the race. Brink gets up, realizes there's no way he can catch up now, even though he was winning, and takes a shortcut through an alleyway, ends up right next to Val towards the end of the race. They both are now skating as hard as they can. They're neck to neck, and Brink literally wins by a hair.
However.
So the question is.
However. The cameras mysteriously go blind.
They did not go blind at that. Everyone saw that.
Everyone saw Andy take the shortcut?
Yes, it wasn't cheating.
There was a blind spot.
No, there wasn't there.
Oh, then it's super cheating.
But
Val went through the course.
But no, because listen. Okay, who cheated? They both cheated.
Yeah.
Who was right?
No, I don't say.
You're asking who cheated, okay? If they both cheated, right? Val cheated first, so he would have been DQ'd and Andy should have won. But they didn't disqualify him, so that means cheating's allowed.
No, it's not.
Well, it's not allowed. The dad, though, even says, good job, Andy, that you beat him. You needed to beat that cheater. Something along those lines. No, you beat that cheater.
No,
his dad said that to him. No, his dad said that, and then all the sponsors said the whole thing. Nah, Val's out. You're in.
However, here's the thing. Val didn't do anything that seemed like cheating. It's very dirty.
No. Oh my God. He's saying there's a different pushing and trying to punch someone when it's not.
It's dirty.
No, it's not dirty. It's called cheating.
No, it's dirty because like if we're playing like soccer and I'm being aggressive, they'll give me a yellow card.
No.
Like, hey.
But you're No, because soccer is still a contact sport.
Hell, in fighting, an eye poke. Hey, don't do that.
No, if you poke their eye so that they can't continue, you're DQ'd.
Like by accident, you're not DQ'd.
Yes, it has happened in like one of the UFC things not too long ago.
That happens after multiple offenses.
No.
And then let's go racing. Like NASCAR is the most popular racing sport. You are allowed to nudge, but you are not allowed.
If Val was allowed to nudge, as you say, he wouldn't have needed to do it when no one can see him. He purposely did it where he knew there was a blind spot in the course.
Right.
Meaning that if he had done it in the light, everyone would have been even more mad at him.
Granted, it was at a blind spot. No one saw him do it.
Yeah, and then everyone saw him cheat.
Is it cheating if no one sees you do it?
Yes!
But how are they going to enforce it if no one can see you do it?
Okay, are you ready? We, the audience, know. So the story is made that way to show us that he's cheating.
We're taking us out of the...
No. Okay, are you ready?
We're there. We saw the blind spot. And then Brink shortcuts his way to win.
No, everyone knows. Everyone knows that Val cheated when he fell. They could see it. They could see that he actually didn't fall. He purposely did it to stop Brink because he knew he couldn't beat him anymore. Everyone knows this. It's an implied in the thing when everyone starts calling Val a cheater that they knew that. If he didn't cheat Val, right? If to the audience in the movie he didn't cheat, why would he be out? Because he only won he barely lost, right? It was a barely win. The only way that Val's out is if everyone knows that he was playing dirty and that he was a poor sportsman, and so that Andy deserved to win, which he did, because if he was a better sport. When his opponent fell, he said, "That's not right. Let's get up. Come on, let's finish this race. Let's actually see who's better." And the other guy cheated and pulled him down and got back up.
You could argue Brink oversold it. Because he could be like, I'm just pulling myself up. I'm on skates.
There was a ref. You didn't see it. There was a ref.
Ooh,
There was a ref right behind them listening to them.
Was he listening?
Yeah, you could see him. He was standing right at the edge of the course.
He could say something. He could be like, hey. Don't do that. Didn't do that, did he? All he did was pull.
What is he supposed to do? I don't think this movie or this course or whatever was like that. They just saw it happen and moved on. That would have been too much of a plot gap. They only had 90 minutes in this movie, Chris.
I know.
This isn't a fucking Dark Knight movie that's 17 hours long and nothing happens. They hang out in the mountain. I know what happens in that fucking mountain. Ra's al Ghul and fucking Bruce Wayne. You know what happened. Those lonely nights, gets cold. Ugh. That's why that movie's so long, guys.
Well, they did camp out in the fire and
But stuff.
You know, you have to be a part of the League of Shadows.
I mean, that's probably what Bruce had to do to get in. He had to be subservient to Ra's al Ghul.
I don't know. We got to talk to Bruce Wayne. I keep smacking my mic. But, no, if we're going by a legit race that happened, if there was a blind spot,
they would have had refs standing there to watch them.
Yeah, but there were no refs there watching them.
That you know of.
Yeah, we're going based what the movie showed us. Yeah, we saw the swinging and stuff like that. We did.
Okay, no, if we're going based off of the movie, if we're going based on a real sport, right? Val falling off of the course, automatic DQ. He would have been done anyways.
That's not how that works in racing. You have to get back on the course and try to finish the race unless something is completely broken.
In motocross, if you fly off the course, fly into the audience, are you allowed to get back up, pull your bike back into the course?
In the audience, or if you went off course?
100% off course. Yeah, he fell. He broke one of the barricades.
You are allowed to get back on course and try to win the race.
He fell into the...
You actually are an extreme detriment from that.
Yeah, so in a real race, most people wouldn't have gotten up to help Val up, right?
No, they would just pass him by.
So Andy was winning, saw that he fell, stopped, went to help him. Yeah, so naive. Either way, yeah, it is naive, isn't it? But that's the point of Andy. He's a naive person.
Naive character.
He's a naive character who doesn't care about winning unless he wins 100%. He wants to show that he's better. That's the whole point of this race for him, right?
Yeah.
So for him, Val falling and him winning, that's not a win. He wants to win. So he got up to help him.
Because
Val then says, "You're naive, and I'm going to show you why you're naive." Pulls him down, is like, "Now I can win."
Because Andy needs to beat Val like this. He needs to beat him with him, and he needs him to win the right way. Andy needs to win the right way. Just to show that Val can't step up to him anymore, can't bully him anymore.
He can't say, "Well, it's just because I fell, I would have won."
No Johns being called.
Yeah.
I like Andy as a character. I appreciate, I like the naivety. I like the good nature he has. I like how Val's a villain, and I think he loves being the villain. I gotta respect people who are evil just for evil's sake. They're I just love being evil. But when I see this end go how it goes, I'm like, hi.
They both,
Damn it.
but they say at the end, the father calls Val a cheater, and the promo guy even says that he's out. Val's out. So there's a reason why he's out. Is he out because he lost, or is he out because he was a dirty person and they all saw it? I think it's because he was a dirty person. The dad calls him a cheater. The promotion drops him. So the question is, you're claiming Brink cheated. Okay? If we go by course rules, yes. If we go by other rules, though, Val played dirty and probably would have gotten impingement, some penalty because, on him, right?
You're thinking eye for an eye, right?
No. I'm not thinking that. I'm thinking if you are racing someone, right?
Yeah.
And you cheat, because in this sport, there's no contact. They can't hit each other. Val hit him. So the question is...
He didn't hit him. He missed all
He
things.
pushed him. He was shoving him with his shoulder. That's not allowed.
That'd probably be like a verbal warning.
Okay, so they just warn him. Don't do that again.
And
if Andy, he would have docked. That's what I'm saying. They would have done something. But since they didn't, the only way for Andy to win was for him to find some way to beat him, right?
Yeah. But he had to cheat hardcore.
Okay, fine then. Andy cheated. Done with the discussion. So then what is the point of that movie? Is they showing that cheating is okay? Because that's not what it came across in the movie at all.
That's not the point of the movie. I'm just saying that one scene bugs me because Andy cheated.
Okay, why does it bug you though? Because the circumstances, the reason why
because
he
I like
quote
Andy's
unquote
character. I just wanted him to be like he.
But you know what? This was actually he couldn't. It was flat land. There was no way. But I think that actually this showed something that he grew. He realized I can't win. I was winning. I messed up. How can I win? He found a way to win.
Yeah.
So maybe this shows him changing. Maybe. I mean, old Andy would have never cheated. If we're saying he cheated, because if he cheated, he obviously would have been disqualified, and he wasn't. But whatever. So, does that... I mean, we're talking about it. It's a Disney movie. Why would they include someone cheating? They obviously didn't frame it as cheating in the film itself.
Like, in my point of view, I think they only showed him cheating because it really looks like they only had so much time to get that shot before it rained again. Mm-hmm. Because that shot looks like it took place during one day, and this was the one shot, the one chance they could do it before they had to do or they had to do reshoots and pay more money, and they didn't want to. So they're like, "Fuck it, we have to do something now." Like, I bet you any money, like in the script it says like he won the good old fashioned way, but it's like we couldn't do it this way for certain reasons. So we had to do it this way. I just feel like it's filmed that way because of, what's the word? Convenience. It's more convenient to film it this way just because...
I don't know. I don't think Disney would have... I don't think Disney would have approved a script in the 90s where the kid won by cheating.
They showed some fucked up things in Disney Channel movies.
It's the 90s. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, because in the frame of the movie, he didn't cheat. If he cheated, he would have been disqualified. He wasn't. Val should have been disqualified. Everyone saw that he was cheating. So the question is it because they just didn't want to include it, or is it just it was actually no rules? If there was no rules, then that means that maybe there were no rules then, because like the only reason why... I mean, I don't even think... They didn't really have barricades. They just had flags along the side.
They had flags, and they had...
But they never said...
like hay bales.
But and on the turns. Yeah. But they never said anything like, you have to follow the set directions to get there.
They never said that.
They never said anything. So maybe Val didn't cheat by hitting him. Maybe it wasn't cheating. But maybe it was dirty enough that the promotion company wouldn't keep him on. Because it's showing him as a dirty fighter. Maybe he didn't cheat per the rules by pulling Andy down, but everyone knows that's a dick move. Yeah. Someone's helping you get up, you guys finish the race.
Definitely he deserves to lose. Because what he did to Gabriella, what he did to Andy, like mentally torture him for a little bit.
Yeah.
But overall, Val's like one of my favorite fucking villains of all time. I just like the jerk that's such a jerk. He loves being the jerk.
And it seems like he actually could be a nice guy when he wants to be.
Yeah, because like
he just legitimately doesn't like Andy, and it all comes down to he knows Andy's better than him.
I don't even think he just doesn't like Andy. I just think he like because like when Andy was working with Team X-Blades,
he was a jerk to Andy.
He was kind of a jerk, but he was also like not as bad as he was when he was against him.
He doesn't like Andy. It was that simple. Remember, he made him do a run. Everyone's like, "Great job, Andy!" And he's like, "Do it again." And Andy's sitting there covered in sweat. And he's like, he just wanted him to do it again because he wanted to have power over him. Yeah. Because I bet you they probably started skating when they're 8 years old. They shown the backstory that Andy started skating when he was a kid.
Yeah.
They probably had this rivalry since they were little kids in the front of the street skating.
Yeah.
And Val's probably grown up thinking Andy's better than him, but then he's the one that got the promo and or the sponsor. So he's like, who's better, me or him? But now he had the power to say he is, blah, blah, blah. Also, Val became hot, guys. Look this actor up. Oh my God.
Yeah, he's super hot.
Like, damn.
Now, speaking of hotness, let's go up and away to the school up high in Sky High.
Okay, so this is a good comparison because one's a Disney Channel original movie for TV, Brink, and one was a Disney Channel original movie, but actually came out in theaters. I watched Sky High in theaters.
Did it?
Yeah, it was a theater released movie, so this one made more money. So if anyone hasn't seen Sky High, the premise is it's a high school for students who have superpowers or are children of super parents, because I don't think you need to have a power to go to the school.
I don't know.
Because it looked like he didn't because one of the.
I think you do need powers to get in. It's just he got in because.
No, I think if you have superpowered parents, but you don't have powers yourself, you can still go to the school because you know about the school, right? I think the rule is.
Oh yeah. No, you're right, because the substitute teacher has no powers.
Yeah.
No, that's substitute.
Mr. Boy.
Yeah.
He didn't have any powers, so I think you have to either be the kid of a super parent, or you have powers. So probably if you have powers and they find you, because it looks like there's a whole system in place, and they find you, they send you to that school. Or they send you to whatever school is closest. They probably have more than one school all over the planet.
What's the plot of Sky High?
So the plot of Sky High, again, sorry, it's a school. So it's about this kid named Will who has the greatest superheroes' parents. Yeah. They are deemed the best superheroes in the world. The commander, Jetstream. The father has super strength, and the mother can fly at supersonic speeds. So this kid feels like he has to live up to a legacy. Well, he's about to start high school at 14 at Sky High. By this point, generally, most kids have had their powers. He doesn't. So he pretends that he has super strength for his family. So he goes to school. His parents think he has super strength. He doesn't. He ends up, because they power place you based on the type of power you have, they place him as a sidekick, not a hero, and he has to learn to handle all of that. Well, long story short, he actually does have powers. And the dynamics switch because not only is he the son of the most famous superheroes, now he ends up having super strength, which in their world is the best power to have, right?
Yeah. I think we agreed that super flight is way better.
Is way better. But in this world, super strength is. And now the script has flipped, and he has to learn how to become a hero without, I don't know, stepping on all his friends who are now sidekicks, and find his way in this world again. And he's got new love interests, and that's basically what the story's really about. And then there's a plot, but that's basically the story.
No, that's the whole plot.
Yeah. Then there's a little side plot at the end, but
when we talked about Brink, we said how good and well-grounded the characters were.
Yeah.
This is more like a riff on like superhero movies.
Mm-hmm.
But the parents in like each character are like dialed up to 11 on goofiness.
Yeah, everyone's extremely goofy. All the adults are goofy.
Yeah. It's like they're incoherent. Like it's like a problem I have like with The Simpsons and like any animated series or any animated adult series is the adults are really stupid, but the kids are really smart.
Yeah, that's kind of what this was like a little bit.
And I'm like, the kids shouldn't be this smart. The kids should be the ones making the mistakes, and the parents should be the one, like, really coming down with the hammer, more or less. But it seemed like the main parents that we follow, Will's parents, are super egotistical.
Yeah.
They love the glory of being a superhero.
Yeah. But I think that the adults were made this way because they don't talk about it a lot, but it was very interesting. The whole movie was really about power. Yeah. And how those with power use it and those without power want it, because in this system, power is valued, which is why super strength is the most powerful power in the story. So Layla even said that she thinks it's an outdated system because the way it works is you go to the school your first day, you show a coach your power, and he tells you if you're a hero or you're a sidekick. And the rest of your life in that school and your career as a superhero is determined. You graduate high school, they pair you up with a superhero. That superhero then gets to pick your name, your costumes, how you're going to function as a team, everything.
Yeah.
And you as a sidekick have no say. I mean, you could be the most brilliant person. I think that's why a lot of people there's a lot of anger and in a lot of the adults hidden anger. Yeah. The old commander's sidekick is a sweet guy, but he has all this pain because the commander found his wife who's jet streamed. They're now the best superhero. He dropped his sidekick, doesn't even remember him. Will didn't even know that this guy worked with his dad for multiple years. Yeah, the mad scientist, the professor, I think he has a power trip with all these kids because he probably was put in a sidekick track because he looks weird and he's smart. What kind of a power is that? We've seen it in Batman. Anyone in reality knows that smart is more powerful than super strength, right?
Yeah.
And the whole subplot of one of the stories is that there was a girl in the year that the parents all grew up who could control technology with her mind. But because it was the 70s or 80s?
It was like the 70s.
People didn't, use technology that much, so her power wasn't deemed important. So she was put as a sidekick. She was relegated to the sidekick classes, which are different than the hero classes as far as I could tell. They learn different things. Sidekicks learn how to do gadgets. They learn that when there's a situation, you hand the weapon to someone else. You don't do it yourself. All this stuff that they ingrain into classes. So this person ended up becoming a supervillain. And she got defeated by the commander. So, but she literally became a villain because of this setup in the school of how they teach everyone. So I think the parents, while really goofy, represented this dynamic, this power dynamic of heroes were the most important, heroes were the, egotistical, and I think they taught the kids that the heroes are better than everyone else. And it seemed like at Sky High, they were okay with that. In the school lunch announcement, they even said, they had announcements like, please guys, no bursting into flame, into ice on campus, and also sidekicks stop ordering hero sandwiches. So they even separated with lunches.
Yeah, it was very segregated.
It was extremely segregated. And some of the people with the best powers. So if anyone's never read it, there's a fan fiction called War and Peace in Mind, okay? And it's a fan fiction about war and peace, but it's very interesting because she expands on this universe a lot more, and she talks about how, at the end of this movie, the sidekicks were the ones that were the most important in saving the day, and actually they were the heroes. And so the story goes a lot more into that, into things like if you're fighting a war, right? And you have superheroes, sidekick and hero as a team isn't actually that smart. You would have a group of heroes instead, right? And so it's very interesting because she goes into how these people who have supposedly lesser powers in the show and are relegated to sidekicks, how if you will give them freedom and allow them to do what they're good at, they can be just as resourceful, just as powerful as these people with powers. They just have to go about it in a different way. Whereas in this old system, they don't allow this. So it was silly, for sure. And that's because I think they were trying to, it was a theatrical release. They were trying to be funny and kind of, it was a heavy thing to deal with, the hero sidekick thing. I got angry when I saw it because the way they were treating the sidekicks was hard to watch. And I think they used that humor to make it more palatable because it's heavy.
No, definitely the characters that we see are dealing with very heavy issues. Like, it's odd where like you see like War and Peace, who is physically upset at Will, even though Will had nothing to do with bringing his dad into prison.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like the crimes of the father get passed down to the son.
Well, yeah, look at that kid, right?
Yeah.
It's War and Peace. Yeah, that's his name. He's what, 17?
Yeah.
Something like that. He was sitting alone. So by all accounts and reasons, at this school, being a hero, you should be popular, right? That's just how it looked to be, right?
Yeah.
So Warren obviously had a hero power. He was probably a hero. He was a handsome dude. He was attractive. But he was relegated to the outskirts because of who his father was.
Yeah, because his father was a supervillain. He has no right.
Everyone's afraid of him.
Be in
that school, even though I think they said his mom was a superhero, because I think they said something like his mom and him, the dad, were fighting too. They battled. Yeah. They were in a super battle too. So like, obviously one of his parents good, which I think is why he got the name War and Peace.
Yeah.
War and Peace. But in this hero world, it's so structured, right? That this person who, by all accounts and reasons, should be popular and a hero is relegated to the background because of the past. And I think that's where a lot of his anger comes from, right? Because he's doing everything he can to be a hero, and he's still nothing. And then
he's still in this weird middle. He's like, he's very anti-hero-ish.
Yeah. Like, and then here comes this kid who, just because of his parents everyone knows him, everyone loves him, everyone wants to fawn over him. He got everything he wants. He didn't even have powers at this point, and everyone's still fawning over him. I mean, how would that feel?
Yeah,
and
you just have nothing but anger and animosity for this one person.
And it's all because of how this system's run, right? That kid should not be treated that way. Like, it's crazy. I can't believe the school let all this stuff happen, too.
Like, they should also, like, have some sort of, like, understanding of, like, some of these kids are not good, and some of these kids are using their powers for their own personal gain, which is very villainous. You should nip that shit at the butt. It's not like, oh, it's just a kid, he's just learning.
Yeah, but no, if you're going to school to become a superhero.
Yeah. If you're literally going to school to be a hero, why are these people acting more like villains? Like, we got what?
Lash and Speed.
Was it Lash and Speed?
Yes.
Weird. But,
and the girl named Penny.
Yeah.
I know all their names intimately, Chris. I love this movie. Okay.
So, like, Lash and Speed are always villainous to the main characters.
Yeah.
They're just high school bullies, but, like...
but with powers. It makes
it way more devastating. Like, one of them nearly killed Warren.
Yeah.
How is that okay? Like, you're talking about a school that you're supposed to be a hero. You're supposed to be the epitome of altruism, and your students are okay to kill each other? That's not good. That doesn't show a very strong, structured school. Maybe it's because, like, they can't do anything about it, because even the principal was Comet. She may have a really strong superpower, but there's someone else that can have a stronger superpower.
I don't know if it was that or so much as in going back, they were so stuck in that system of you're a hero. Kind of the notion of you're here, you want to be a hero, obviously.
Yeah, but...
that, I mean, maybe, you know what I mean? Like, you're here, you want to be a hero, you show up every day, that's enough. That, like, even the dad, the commander... he looked down on the sidekicks.
Yeah, all of them.
I mean, he kind of got annoyed when he found out his son was hanging out with them. And so you're kind of like...
Did he, though?
He did. Remember when he met them and Ethan was like, I melt. Zach was like, I glow. And Magento was like, I shapeshift. And he goes, a shapeshifter. Okay. And she's like, a guinea pig. And he's like, oh, a guinea pig. And he tells his kids, like, yeah, they seem like a good group of kids. But, good for you for hanging out with them. Kind of like you're hanging out with the losers. And it's like...
yeah.
what about them made them losers besides the fact that you don't think their powers are strong enough or cool enough? So I think even the dad even said it. I would never have hung out with sidekicks. So I think it's a very interesting situation, but I think they're allowed to pick on other people as long as they're not heroes that they're picking on. Because in their world, right, the powerful pick on the weak. They're the powerful, so they are allowed to pick on them because they're powerful. The only reason why they're allowed to do that to Warren is because Warren's in that weird in-between, right? Yeah. He's a hero, but he's an anti-hero. No one really knows what he is. So it's okay for them to pick on him. It's okay that they pick on Will.
They don't really pick on Warren.
No, they ignore him.
They're more afraid of Warren. So
everyone's afraid. No, they ignore him, but they don't either. Remember, they purposely tripped Will so that he'd fall on Warren. Yeah. So they know don't pick on Warren, but they also know we can if we do it in a roundabout way because they're not going to get in trouble for it.
Yeah.
They didn't get in trouble even though everyone could fucking see the kid's arm is the one that tripped Will.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you can pick on who you want to as long as you're picking on the weaker one. Because that's what that school is teaching so much, this dichotomy, that even the teachers have it in their mind that, it's okay. It'll toughen up the sidekicks, and maybe the heroes will see what's happening and they'll realize, I shouldn't do this. Or maybe they think it as in they're getting it out of their system now, so when they become heroes, they're held higher standards. Let them be kids now. Maybe they see it that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's got to be a logic behind it, but I think it really just comes down to this, like in movies, I just watched that movie Mudbound.
Yeah.
And that's about racism and power.
But in here, it seems more classist than anything.
It is, but it's kind of the same idea. But they're trying to show you a change, right? But in order to do that, they have to show you the reality first and how the characters change. So, I don't know. Maybe it was worse beforehand, so then to the adults, it's better now. It's okay. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's a very interesting question. In that fan fiction, War and Peace in Mind, I think it's Genuine Chat, but it's Juene Chat, CHAT. That's the author. It's very good, guys. If you read fan fiction and you like reading them, you should read it. It goes and she delves into a lot of the really cool subplots of the story, even like power placement and stuff. It's really cool. If you like Sky High as much as I do, I think this is one of the best fan fictions I've ever read. And it's actually completed, which is weird. So, read it if you want to. But
how did you feel on the main villain, Royal Pain? Honestly, worst name I've ever heard, but...
Oh, really? I liked it, because it's a kid's movie. I thought it was cute.
I hate it.
You know what's the funny part? She lost. But in this story, you actually didn't want her to lose. I wanted the parents to be okay. Like, the babies and stuff.
Yeah.
But if the reason why she is, what made her who she is... after seeing it and seeing what those sidekicks go through, I understand it. And even like the whole thing of her talking about like before you find out she was a villain, she talks about her power to Will, and she says, she fixes a ray gun for Will.
Yeah.
And Will's like, wow, I can only punch stuff. And she's like, I'm a technopath, I can control technology in my mind. He goes, wow. And he says, I can only punch stuff. And the professor hears him and he says, and yet you will be on the cereal boxes. Where's the irony in that? And it's true, because while she's hero nowadays because we use technology, she is theoretically more versatile, smarter, and more powerful than Will.
Yeah.
She could fight Will because she's like Iron Man. She was able to make a suit to go toe to toe with one of the most powerful, literally strength-wise heroes on the planet. Yeah. Because I think Will might be as powerful or close with his dad. I don't know what the equal levels are between them, but... So when I was watching it, it was really cool. Hero won, yeah. But even when I watched it as a kid, I necessarily didn't want her to lose. Because she had to fight so much. And the reasons why she actually make sense. Like, I think if she grew up in a system that didn't relegate her to psychic, maybe. Like, if she grew up in her fake reality as Gwen, I don't think Gwen, if she didn't have her past beforehand, would have become a villain because she was placed in hero class.
She would have been put in the hero classes, but she would have pretty much an easier time than any of the heroes. because like doing the heroes save the civilian game.
She could have just stopped the mechanism.
Just stopped everything because she controls technology.
Yeah, that power is more powerful, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make a suit, you can fly, you could go to space. Like, she's definitely one of the most powerful powers there, right?
Yeah.
So that whole movie was just showing the objectivity of that world. That on someone's whim, your whole life can be changed. Someone's opinion on what your power is, and on what you are, can change everything. And so, yeah, she shouldn't have won. She took people and made them babies and was going to kidnap whole people. But the same hand, her fate was sad because the reason she is the way she is sad.
Yeah, because of everything she's been through and everything like she had to endure, and then go through puberty twice. It's a joke that she.
But she really did.
But she was the outcast who became the popular girl, but in a different lifetime.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's Warren, right? So her original lifetime, she's a completely normal person who got manipulated by the system.
Yeah.
So the way that system's treating Warren, yeah, he might become a villain just because of
like how he's
being ignored all the time. No matter what he does, he's still considered a bad guy. I mean, when Layla met him in the restaurant that one time and he acted normal, she was like, wow. And it's probably because there, no one has a stigma against him, so he can be who he wants to be.
In the real world, he's anyone he could want to be. Yeah.
But in the world where that he's supposed to be a hero, they treat him like shit.
Yeah, when he goes to school in Sky High, he's the outsider. He's the outcast. He's the dark side kid.
Yeah.
But we were discussing this in during the movie, like the strengths of these heroes are back asswards, because we were talking about how Jetstream should be one of the strongest heroes.
Yeah, so the commander in Jetstream, the dad is super strong. And the mom has supersonic flight, and she carries the dad around and all this stuff. Yeah. And she has a black belt in like every martial art. But the dad is considered the more powerful hero. And I think it's because, like everything about the parents' generation is linear.
Yeah.
Strength is obviously more powerful than flight because it's strength.
Yeah.
But they don't think about like creativity and versatility and the power. That's not important.
No, because like if she's going Mach 2, she's breaking the sound barrier twice. Her body must be able to handle that. Handle all the G forces as well.
Is someone coming in and out of the apartment?
Probably our roommate.
Oh, okay.
But to handle all the G forces and then even fight that fast, if she didn't have that super durability,
if she hits anything, her bones would shatter.
Yeah, she would pass out flying that fast. Hell, her eyes would freeze over just because how fast she's moving.
Yeah.
But then, like, she's not even the strongest hero.
She is considered one of the world's strongest
heroes. She's one of the world's strongest. Like, the commander will be up there too. But Warren, I think, outlasts all of them because he could actually hurt them and they can't hurt him too much.
No, because I think he has some, like, some sort of healing factor or something, because like he was getting thrown through walls. When Lash took his air away,
yeah,
the second he Will removed gave him back, he was fine.
Yeah, he bounced right back up.
Yeah, like, he went
pushed him through a wall into a support beam, and he just shrugged it off.
Yeah, and he went through walls, and then shrugged it off, and like he got thrown into like a metal trash bin and just picked it up and threw it like nothing happened.
Yeah, it's like this guy is completely on a different level.
But again, none of the characters use their powers in unique ways.
No.
Like, I think that was the whole point. They were taught to be so linear. But if you could use, like, you know, Warren's power, go on air like fire, he threw his fireballs. But he could have lit the floor on fire.
Yeah.
And everyone would have he would have won, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he could have thrown a fireball, lit the rope on fire, and just caught the girl before she fell and been done with. Like, there were so many things that that you could use your powers in creative ways, and none of them did. And it goes back to this whole story was saying that, like, they live in this very rigid reality.
Yeah, it felt very, like, 1950s.
Yeah, it was very interesting.
But, overall, I feel like in Sky High, I feel like the villain's really weak. Just like she goes through a lot, but in a very campy movie like this, she didn't balance the camp with her own character. You know what I mean? She's very serious for this campy movie.
No, I get what you're saying. Like, the reason why she is the way she is, everything she's gone through is so serious.
Yeah.
And in such a campy movie where everyone's so... But that's where her anger comes from, too, because they didn't even realize that they were hurting.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why, all of this, everyone was so camp and she was so serious. And Warren was so serious into such this campy reality.
Yeah.
Because all of that, those people didn't get to live in that reality with everyone else.
Maybe. But
it's a kids movie.
It's a kids throws the movie.
I didn't think it threw it off.
Because everything is so camp, and then there's these two characters.
She was campy though. Like when she was standing there, she's like, "I'm Royal Pain," and Commander went, "Royal Pain's a girl." And she's like, "Yes, I'm a girl, you moron."
Yeah, but that's at the tail end of the movie.
You mean the rest of the time the character of Gwen, Royal Pain was campy.
Yeah.
but Gwen herself was not.
Gwen is not. War and Peace is not.
But none of the children are. The children aren't campy, the adults are.
Yeah.
That's why she doesn't become campy until she's Royal Pain and she's not Gwen anymore.
Okay. Because, looking back at it and you making this distinction, it's like the parents are the camp.
Everyone else is grounded. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, now I can see that. Now it makes more sense. Because watching the whole movie, I'm like, this is super campy. And, I like Sky High. But,
No, it's because they made a very big distinction between adults and children in this movie. And I think it's because they're trying to show you the old ways versus a new way of thinking.
Way, yeah.
And the parents, even the nurse, Ron Wilson, the principal, the coach, the mad scientist teacher, those were the main adults. And the parents, all campy. All very kind of airheaded, not, blah, blah, blah. All the students and stuff were all very grounded, and they had motivations, and they were like evil, good, anti-hero, whatever you want. They all were much more grounded than everyone else. And that's why Gwen had to act that way, because she was an adult.
Yeah.
But when she got to be Royal Pain, then she was more campy. She said more weird things.
Yeah.
It
felt very out of character for her when she is Royal.
All of a sudden she was Royal Pain and she was just like, Stitch was like, "Daddy's little girl." She's like, "I told you never to call me that."
Yeah.
All this stuff. But that's because she was playing this whole time. And you had to see she's so different. It's because she was manipulating Will. She was manipulating those around her so that she could get her revenge.
Is Will a very weak character too? Because I feel he is.
I think he is too, but I think this all goes back into he's so strong, he has to be weak somewhere, right? So he's not the brightest bulb in the thing. You know what I mean? He has to...
he isn't the smartest. And we see that.
He's not the smartest. He doesn't really have a backbone as a character.
But he feels so just blasé.
But that's because he's all-American boy.
Because, even his dad and mom, they have been, them being the campy, egomaniacal characters that they are, they have character. Where with Will, it's just I might not have superpowers. If he just did not have powers, I would have respected him more, and I would actually care more about his character. But the fact that he gets both powers and
No, I know. I kind of didn't want him to get all the powers either.
Because it can show every sidekick can be a hero and every hero can be a sidekick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was supposed to show growth, but by getting him all the powers was
just no, it still showed the class divide.
But I think he was supposed to show that new divide. That because he had to go through all this and learn all this, he was able to bridge that divide.
Yeah.
And because people look up to him, it's going to cause more change. So I think that's why he has to be that way, because if he wasn't all powerful and he was a sidekick, he couldn't affect change. Not in that current system. You need a hero to affect that change. Warren can't affect the change because obviously Warren didn't care about.
Two halves of
he's
good
too,
or evil.
He's too dark. He couldn't do it. I mean, he obviously didn't care, right? He didn't care hero villain. Like, he just was like, leave me alone.
Yeah. Except like at the end, he definitely became the hero. He was like, he's not the typical hero, but that anti-hero is like, no, you're doing really wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna help these guys out.
No, like he helped Layla out.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing is he's not a bad guy. Everyone just put that he was. And I think he just played it up to get people to leave him alone in a sense, probably. People probably tried to pick on him and he had to be like, no, leave me the fuck alone, I'll burn you.
Yeah. Like, and he even says, like, very dark threats, like, I'll turn you to ash or whatever.
Yeah, I'll roast you alive.
Yeah.
He only says that to Will, though. And he also does threaten to throw a giant-ass fireball at everyone.
Yeah.
But I think his anger...
Yeah, and, like, he even hurts people, like, not intentionally, or, like, not even intentionally. Like, he does it intentionally, but he's not trying to really, like, hurt you.
When?
Like, with Layla holding his hand and he just burns his hands.
But I think that goes to the whole thing. This is a very interesting question. Can you be a light character when you have a fire power? Like, fire burns.
Yes and no.
Right? Like, to be a character with flames...
Because the element itself is so hard to harness because it's all about... You can't control it. You can only maintain it. Like, a candle, when you light it, you're like, oh, it's a controlled fire. Not really. All you need to do is tip it, and then it's no longer controlled. When you tip it and there's something near it, it can go crazy. Like Zuko from Avatar. Because he's fire, everyone thinks he's the hothead, he's the hostile one, whatever. And he is during, like, the main arcs of this show until the end, where he learns to temper the fire. He learns to stoke it, like, keep it maintained.
Yeah.
He's like, he's not trying to burn everything and leave a wasteland. He's just trying to have enough to warm everyone.
Right. Fire is one of the most tipsy powers in that.
Like, even in, like, a Street Fighter, his power is fire.
Mm-hmm.
He can harness it, but, like, he's a very good person. Like, he's a better person than his best friend Ryu. And his best friend Ryu is all about electricity and, like...
So you think you can be a good... You
can do it. It's just, you need to be the right personality to do it.
Because...
You need to be that hothead with the good heart.
Yeah, because, I think Warren's power, no matter what he does, well, like, think about it. If you're a hero, right, and you have fire powers and you're fighting someone and you burn them.
That is a heavy thing.
What, will people still look at you as a hero? Will they still be like, he saved the day, or they'll be like, oh my god, he burned someone?
Yeah, like if you're roasting someone alive or something.
Like,
it's tough.
It's tough, but it's like, that's my power. I mean, if Will punched someone in the head so hard they died, no one would be like that mad, I don't think. Because they'd be like, okay. I mean, if he pulverized their head into ash, yeah, they'd be like, whoa, dude. But if he hit...
There's comic books like that. Like, Spider-Man actually has the proportional strength of a spider.
Yeah.
So he has super strength.
Yeah.
And every person he punches, he has to pull his punch. Unless they're strong enough to take it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, with Doc Ock, he's just a human with cybernetic
arms.
Octopus arms that he attaches to himself. But when Spider-Man fights him, he can punch those robot arms, no problem. But when it's him, he does he pulls it really hard. And it's still enough to damage him and enough to make his brain almost mush.
Yeah.
So it literally goes back to the Spider-Man analogy. With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
And in the case of Warren with his fire powers, he needs to just be able to harness it enough not to hurt anyone.
Yeah.
Because Human Torch is completely made out of fire. So it's like, I can burn things here and here.
Yeah, but a lot of times the human
leg to like immobilize you.
Yeah.
But I can't attack your body or face.
Yeah.
Or you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, and it's things like you threaten that you'll like them, you'll hurt them, but you maybe no. Yeah. Oh, okay. So, question: comparison between the two. Do you think they're both good movies, or do you think one's better than the other, or do you think they're just different movies?
I just think they're different movies. They're both really good, but they're different. You can't compare the two.
No. I like them a lot. Like, Sky High, I think, is much more big. The characters are bigger and all this stuff. Brink is a very grounded movie, though, and I think they're both what they are. They're both definitely kids, aimed more towards kids.
Yeah.
But I think they do a good job of being substantial enough and fun enough that a parent could watch it with their child and not be, oh my god, I'm going to blow my brains out.
Yeah.
Also, there's no singing. Yay. If we ever have kids, I'm never showing them a musical. Unless it's Mulan.
It's Lion King.
Or I guess Lion King.
Lion King's really good.
Well, I guess you'll decide because you're going to be the house husband.
But yeah. Well, that's a wrap. Go watch Brink.
And Sky High, and read War and Peace in Mind by I think her name's Genuine Chat, like it's almost like genuine, Juene Chat, CHAT, on fanfiction.net if you're interested. I am not promoting this person, no one's paying us, I just really fucking like this thing, and I want to talk about it with someone. I read it when I was like 14, someone fucking read it! Okay?
Make sure to check us out on superfunpack.com. You could also send us emails at superfunpack@gmail.com.
Yes, and please and subscribe on YouTube at superfunpack, one word, because Chris fucked up. Remember that? Chris fucked up. So it's one word, superfunpack, one word, on youtube.com.
Videos up. We're actually going to be putting up the Dragon Ball FighterZ story. I'm actually editing that right now. And it's with my brother Anthony, so it's fun. His name is not Daniel, even though I keep saying like, "Damn, Daniel, back at it again with the Dragon Ball." His name is not Daniel, it's Anthony. But definitely check it out. We talk a lot about Dragon Ball in that. Oh,
and you can hear me coughing in the background.
Resident Evil will be also coming out this week. And the podcast will always come up on the
Monday nights
Gmail account. Not Gmail, on the
YouTube.
On YouTube.
And our website, www.superfunpack.com.
Be sure to check us out on our Twitter.
Super Fun Pack and Facebook.
Yeah,
please, guys, like, subscribe, give a comment. We'd love to hear from you guys. We'd love to have some advice. We're open ears. Just, let's be a part of our community. As Chris wrote on our new business cards, join the pack.
So hot.
We'd love to have a community of people that kind of have the same interests in us and love to talk about movies and comics. And if you think there's something we should watch or something we should read, let us know. You know, I love reading. So even if it's novels, I love novels, guys. I will read them all.
Also, working out on how to do a Twitch stream. So sooner or later, we're going to be doing our podcast on Twitch, so you could see us on Twitch as well.
Mm-hmm.
We'll figure all that logistics out soon. And once the studio set up, everything will be set up for that.
And one last thing, just another update on Superhero Coliseum, because I know everyone's chomping at the bit for that. We're definitely still working on it. The weather has been turning much nicer now in this month, so no more ice and snow, hopefully. So we're going to be working on that. Hopefully that's going to come out, summer?
Yeah, most likely this summer. But we would have to talk more about filming off mic, but...
well, I'm just letting you guys know it's still coming. We haven't forgotten. We were still really excited to make our Wolverine versus X-23 fight. We're working on it. So, keep your eyes out for that. That'll be coming out soon this year.
All right. Bye.
Bye.